be able to just take away all my pylons, and he killed my one probe there. I've got a couple of stalkers here trying to help TickTok defend against this position as well. A couple of things going in to finish the job. Finally, my base is going to have some peace. One thing that I absolutely love to do, especially in 3v3s, is try to get those quick upgrades. Sometimes I'll even skip the Twilight Council altogether and go straight for +1 weapons. I think that's actually what I did because I already have +1 weapons. So yeah, I have +1 weapons and armor. I see a lot of professional players go for Protoss armor first, but I actually like the plasma shields because of what I like to call the halo effect. If you've ever played the game Halo, the reason why you can have technically infinite amount of life in that game is because you regenerate your shield. I like to apply that same concept to Protoss. So despite the fact that plasma shields are gas intensive and a lot more than Protoss armor, I think really in the long run it's going to be more beneficial, especially for stalkers, units that you mobilize a lot, you blink away with, they regen some of their shield. You don't really use stalkers for head-to-head combat. You can, but they are more of an assault unit with a lot of agility. So I think that shield complements stalkers very well. We see right here that the yellow Zerg player has a lot of Mutalisks, definitely way more mutas than Hypn0tika does, so this is going to be really tough for him to deal with. Since he did get those Bailings, he did use those gas on those Bailings for that game, it's going to be very tough for him to defend against this, and these mutas are going straight for that Spire. I don't really think he can defend against it all too well. I have a couple of Stalkers coming in, but he's definitely going to lose that Spire. Meanwhile, it looks like almost everyone has their expansions up and running, which is crucial, and I am trying to defend my base. I almost thought I was going to lose my base here, so I did set up some photon cannons just in case, and also I am in the middle, so I want my opponents to know not to attack here, because this is D'd up, so it's going to be difficult for them to cut across, and it's going to be more difficult for them to cut across and attack anywhere they want, so they need to split aside around here, which is much more difficult to coordinate. So we see right here that I'm actually on 1-1 upgrades in the Protoss, despite the fact that he has Blink. He is on 0-0, so I think that is better than having Blink, because it makes my stalkers more versatile. If I ever encounter myself attacking his stalkers, I know I'm going to win in the battle. Also, it ones up roaches and hydras pretty well. I can match hydras with higher upgrades more than if that was equal on upgrades. So Mutalisks are coming in. They are now, it looks like they are all encroaching on one position, gathering up here. Is this the eye before the storm? Are we about to see a huge battle? I think we are. These mutas are trying to soften on my base, being really annoying here. I don't have Blink, so I'm kind of immobile and going straight for my pylon. I don't know why he goes straight for that. He probably should have just gone for here, but I did prepare. My photon cannons come in just right in time, and here's the battle coming in. We are actually in superior position now. We have an excellent concave. Terran player is on high ground. Tanks are right here. He does get a Blink in, but I think it is going to be not a problem for us to deal with this at all. There's one Colossus back here, but we do have the positioning for us to deal with that, and that tank has been able to live quite enough for long enough to deal with those stalkers. Like I said, that superior concave there was able to help us out a lot. Now, I usually like to have 2 pylons per gateway here, but since I've been losing my pylons so much, you don't really see that. But I would avoid something like this, because I think you're better off using your pylons to have full vision inside of your base and just have at least 2 per. This also makes it more vulnerable to splash, and you can just keep going down the line and picking them off. So I try to avoid something like that. Maybe you like it, maybe it's just personal preference, but I kind of like to have my pawns more spread out. And I was trying to take the high ult because at this time, I think we have some momentum in the game, and I realize whoever has the most economy at this point is going to be able to hold out and just pump more units, because right now we are matching each other pretty well. There's a lot of mutas for the yellow Zerg player, and he is going to have free reign on Hypn0tika's base right now. Meanwhile, me and TickTok are attacking on this position, so it is pretty much a 3v2, or Hypn0tika is sitting here. He doesn't really have much of an army. He does have a couple of mutas back here, and TickTok getting a very excellent position right here. That Colossus is not going to live very long, and I'm trying to deal with these hydras and these roaches. I'm backing up here right now. I do have this proxy pylon at least, so I know that I'm going to be able to deal with the Zerg player, but TickTok is really doing an excellent job right here, even coming in with some more dropships, and I think this Protoss's base is going to be in huge trouble. I don't know why the Zerg player isn't trying to help out his buddy here. A couple of mutas are harassing on here, so Hypn0tika is doing the best that he can with what little units he has, trying to divert and delay this attack. Meanwhile, TickTok is going on this base, taking out the robotics facility. He's got 1-1 upgrade, so he's doing pretty well. And looks like that TickTok's static D was able to help him quite a bit. TickTok, or Hypn0tika's static D, TickTok even has some here as well. He has really only lost a starport at this point and maybe a missile turret, but my stalkers are here now with blink, now with +2 upgrades, so this is pretty dangerous position for the yellow Zerg to be in, and TickTok might even be able to take on the rest of the Zerg force. It looks like he has taken on most of the production. There aren't going to be any Colossus left. So TickTok is going to be able to mop up the rest of this force right here. In the meantime, I'm trying to keep pressure on. I'm trying to keep them split up while I know TickTok is here. I'm going to try to attack at this position. It's always nice to keep attacking your opponent from as many positions as possible because it keeps them on their toes. Since threes are big maps, the more you can keep your opponent traveling around the map, the more map control you have, the better you are going to be in position. And at this point, I realize I have enough stalkers to do what I like to call expansion sniping. So all I do is I just stay on here, wait for them to come, and then blink away. So now I know that we are at least up one base, and actually pretty much even because this hatchery keeps getting sniped by that massive amount of mutalisks. I usually like to get Phoenixes against Mutas, but at this point he has so many Mutas that I don't even think it's worth it. I think just keeping an upgraded Stalker pack is really going to be the most beneficial for me right now. So I'm trying to set up this base. I do have a nice little cannon enclave right here, so we do pretty much have the lower tier of the map set up. We did a lot of damage to this Protoss right here. He doesn't have that much saturation on his base. So I think we are in a really good spot right now. And it looks like Hypn0tika was able to recoup. He has a nice little Hydra pack coming in right here. And Hydras and Mutas are coming in on the rest of Hypn0tika's base right now. Are we going to decide to defend or just kind of try to go for a base race? I think we are going to go for a defensive move right here. TickTok does have his army coming in. He's got a lot of Marines. He's got a lot of siege tanks. So I think we are going to be able to thwart this attack pretty well. I have my high yield almost ready right here. So I think we are in a pretty good position right now. A lot of static defense is really going to be nice for those Mutas. But those Hydras are doing the right thing, going right for those missile turrets, but I don't think that they have enough to deal with this. Really, our biggest threat are those Mutas, but every single unit we have right now is anti-air, so there's not much that pack of Mutas is going to be able to do. I think this is pretty much game for the other player. TickTok is now taking up that high yield. This expansion has just been built, so really the Zerg, despite the fact that he has about 6 trillion larvae right now, he's not going to be able to do much with it since I was able to snipe out that expansion. So one little thing like that, just taking your stalkers across the map and blinking away can win you the game. So I think we did a pretty good job here overall. And just for fun, looking at what's in production, I almost have +3 weapons. I absolutely love when that happens because I can pretty much make any unit I want and they're going to just wreck face. So that was the 3v3. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I certainly did. I remember how awesome this game was. A lot of action from the get-go, which is exactly why I like 3v3, because some people go right for a rush, some people go for a timed push. They're both challenging things to deal with. Moving around and coordinating, I'd recommend try to get on vent with a friend or two, and it helps to coordinate things a lot. So yeah, things that I would recommend in 3v3, always make sure that you're expanding, because that's very crucial, since at any time one of your bases might be getting harassed by a pack of mutas or dropships or whatever. It's always nice to have that second base somewhere else. And I think what we did here, which the other team didn't do, is they didn't really fight for these high yields at all. And if the game continued to go on for another 5-10 minutes, it wouldn't have been much of a contest, because I would just be able to replenish my army as much as I want. And I would have had those +3 upgrades, so TickTok would have had his high yield, planetary fortress, missile turrets, so that's something you also should do as well. Yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe on this game. And I hope to be casting more of these games because they're really fun. I had a blast. So thank you guys so much, and enjoy the clip.